My Life with the Walter Boys Season 4 is already in production in Calgary. Netflix has confirmed a 2027 premiere, and the question that every fan of this show needs to be asking right now is not when it arrives, but what it is going to be. Because Season 4 is the first season of this series that exists in genuinely uncharted territory. Ali Novak's original novel gave the show its first season. Novak's sequel, My Return to the Walter Boys, exists as a published book that the show has so far declined to commit to adapting. Season 4 is beyond both source materials, entirely in the hands of Melanie Halsall and a writer's room that has been building Silver Falls into something the books never imagined, and the season is arriving at a moment when the show's own showrunner has confirmed she knows how the entire series ends. Will Season 4 take any of its story beats from My Return to the Walter Boys? And if so, does that mean the show is finally going to give Cole and Jackie the straightforward reconciliation the sequel novel provides? Or is Halsall going to make the audience earn it in ways the book never did? Does the Netflix production announcement on August 5th, 3 days before Season 3 even premiered, with the three leads photographed back on set together, signal that the creative team arrived at Season 4 with a specific story already fully formed, rather than building it in response to Season 3's reception? Has filming already revealed any casting details about new characters who would change the shape of the Season 4 love triangle in ways that neither the Cole-Jackie-Alex dynamic nor the Eliot edition can fully predict? What do the question marks around Will and Nathan's returns mean for the texture of ranch life in Season 4? And does the departure of those characters from the family home create a Walter Boys that feels structurally different from what 3 seasons have established? And given that Halsall has confirmed she has an overall sense of where the series ends, is Season 4 the penultimate chapter that begins closing the story? Or is it the season that opens enough new doors that the ending she can see is still several seasons away? Every one of those questions has an answer, and this breakdown covers all of them. The single most important creative context for Season 4 is the existence of Ali Novak's sequel novel and what the show's relationship to it actually means. Novak published My Return to the Walter Boys after the television series became a global phenomenon. The book exists, at least in part, because the show created a new audience for Novak's world that the original novel's fan community had never been able to generate on its own. The sequel picks up with Jackie Howard returning to Silver Falls and navigating the unresolved feelings of the love triangle that the first book established. It provides the show with a roadmap, a version of where Jackie, Cole, and Alex are headed that Novak herself sanctioned as the story's continuation. However, unfortunately, the show's relationship to the sequel is considerably more complicated than simply adapting it. Halsall has not confirmed that Season 4 will follow My Return to the Walter Boys, and the critical record of how Seasons 2 and 3 departed from the original novel's structure suggests that Halsall has been using the source material as a launching pad rather than a blueprint. The evidence from the show's 3 completed seasons tells the audience that Halsall values the emotional architecture of Novak's work far more than its specific plot mechanics. She has consistently taken the feelings the books generate and delivered them through stories the books never told. The evidence strongly suggests that Season 4 will do the same with the sequel, which means the resolution the sequel novel provides for Cole and Jackie is not necessarily the resolution Season 4 delivers, and that Halsall's confirmed knowledge of how the series ends is a destination the show reached independently of whatever Novak wrote. However, unfortunately, for fans who have read My Return to the Walter Boys hoping it would function as a spoiler guide to Season 4, the show's creative independence from its source material means the sequel is better understood as a parallel version of the story than a prediction of where the show is going. That parallel can still be useful. The emotional beats Novak chose to give the sequel, the specific way she resolved the love triangle in her version, and the new characters she introduced all represent authorial choices about what the Silver Falls story was always building toward. What Halsall has built over 3 seasons of television is a story that has outgrown the books in scope and emotional complexity, and Season 4 is the season where that growth becomes most visible because there is no longer any source material to fall back on if the original instinct turns out to be wrong. The show appears to be building toward a season 4 where every choice is original and every consequence is earned from what the television series itself has established rather than from what the books provide. The most likely explanation for the speed and confidence of Netflix's season 4 announcement is the one that the production photos capture most directly. Netflix announced season 4's renewal on May 13, 2026, 3 months before season 3 premiered on August 6th. The announcement was made before a single viewer had seen the cliffhanger the new season was designed to make them desperate to resolve. That timeline, for a show that had previously waited for audience data before confirming continuations, tells the audience something significant about the institutional position My Life with the Walter Boys now occupies on the Netflix platform. The post that accompanied the production announcement, Back in the House, Back on the Ranch, came with a photograph of Nikki Rodriguez, Noah Lalonde, and Ashby Gentry standing together on the Calgary set, all three wearing expressions that communicated something more than contractual obligation. They looked like people who had been away from something they loved and were genuinely glad to be back. The evidence from the speed of the renewal and the specific warmth of that production announcement tells the audience that season 4 was not a reluctant commission made to satisfy fan demand. It was a creative decision made by a team that arrived at season 4 knowing exactly what story it needed to tell. However, unfortunately, the very confidence of that announcement raises a question that the production's Calgary timeline complicates. If the writer's room had the season 4 story fully formed by May 2026, what does that story look like in a world where the show has now moved past both source novels and is building entirely on Halsall's own creative vision of what Silver Falls is and what it means? The evidence from Halsall's own statement that season 4 has delicious, romantic, sexy, and messy stories to tell suggests the confidence is earned rather than assumed. The evidence from the specific word messy in that list is the one that tells the audience most about what season 4 is actually going to feel like. Every previous season of this show has built its tension around the question of who Jackie chooses. Season 4, with Eliot established as a genuine alternative, and Cole's situation physically and emotionally more complicated than it has ever been, is the first season where the question of who Jackie chooses has genuine stakes from multiple directions simultaneously. The mess that Halsall is promising is not the mess of a love triangle. It is the mess of a young woman who has to make a permanent decision about her own future, using incomplete information about herself and about everyone she loves. The theory that changes the entire season 4 love triangle dynamic is the one about what Eliot's role in season 3 actually signaled about the show's creative direction. Naveen Paddock's Eliot was not introduced as a temporary obstacle to the Cole-Jackie relationship. He was introduced as a genuine alternative, a person who represents the version of Jackie's life she left behind in New York, who knew her before Silver Falls remade her, and whose specific claim on her affections is different in kind from either Cole's or Alex's, rather than simply lesser. The season 3 finale's simultaneous placement of Eliot kissing Jackie and Cole racing toward her, the crash separating them before the reunion could happen, is the show's most sophisticated use of its own love triangle structure since season 1. The evidence from how the season 3 finale balanced those two images tells the audience that season 4 is not going to resolve Jackie's feelings for Cole by simply revealing that Eliot was never a serious option. The evidence strongly suggests that season 4 is going to give Eliot enough genuine material to make the choice feel real, which means Cole's path back to Jackie requires something more than simply surviving the crash and showing up. What makes Eliot's position in season 4 so structurally interesting is that he is the only person in Silver Falls who represents a version of Jackie's life that predates the loss of her family. Every other relationship in the show exists in the aftermath of the car accident that brought Jackie to Colorado. Eliot existed before it. His knowledge of who Jackie was, before the grief, before the Walters, before Silver Falls replaced New York as the landscape of her daily life, gives him an emotional claim that neither Cole nor Alex can replicate, because what he offers is not a version of Silver Falls life, but an alternative to it entirely. However, unfortunately, season 4 has to make that alternative genuinely attractive in a way that Season 3 introduced but did not fully develop, because a love triangle only generates real suspense when all three corners feel equally possible. The evidence from Halsall's deliberately generous treatment of Eliot in Season 3, introducing him as complex and warm rather than as an obvious obstacle, suggests that Season 4 is going to commit to making his case before it allows the case to be lost, and that the audience that has been rooting for Cole since Season 1 is going to spend at least part of Season 4 genuinely uncertain that they are right. Cole's car flipped. Cole was not wearing his ring in any metaphorical sense. He was racing toward Jackie, and Danvers ran him off the road because Cole abandoned the prize money, the career, and the version of himself that racing had been building since the breakup. Season 4 picks up with Cole having chosen Jackie in the most physical and costly possible way, abandoning a race prize, racing toward her, surviving a crash, and not yet knowing if that choice has been received, or even if Jackie knows it was made. The secondary thread that every fan needs to take seriously before Season 4 arrives is the one about the Walter family's composition, and the question marks that the production has specifically placed around Will and Nathan's returns are more significant than they appear. Will Walter, played by Corey Fogelmanis, and Nathan Walter, played by Johnny Link, were both established at the end of Season 3 as characters in transition, young men at the age where the family home stops being a permanent address and becomes a place to visit. Their potential departures from the Silver Falls Ranch are not simply logistical production decisions. They are the show's way of acknowledging that the Walter family the audience has been watching is changing, that the house that felt infinite and chaotic in Season 1 is becoming something more defined as the people who filled it grow into their own lives. However, unfortunately, the specific texture of what My Life with the Walter Boys is at its best depends significantly on that chaos, on the sense that Silver Falls is a place with too many people and too much feeling, and not enough walls to contain any of it. A Walter Boys ranch with fewer Walters is a different show from the one that built its audience, and Season 4's management of those departures is going to be one of the most important creative balancing acts the show has ever attempted. The evidence from how Halsall has always used the supporting ensemble, not as background furniture, but as the specific gravity that keeps Jackie in Silver Falls when leaving would be easier, tells the audience that whoever remains in Season 4 will carry more weight than any of them did when the house was full. The Kiley and Alex thread that the Season 3 finale left in its most devastating position is the secondary storyline that Season 4 absolutely must address in its first act. Halsall confirmed in pre-Season 3 interviews that she has been building toward the Kiley-Alex relationship since Kiley was first introduced, that the childhood friend dynamic has always been the show's most emotionally loaded, undetonated device. The door that Kiley closed at the end of the Season 3 finale is a door that Dylan helped shut from the other side, and Season 4's treatment of that door is going to tell the audience something fundamental about what kind of show this is now. If Season 4 gives Dylan a genuine and complex arc that interrogates why he has been willing to manipulate the people around him, the show becomes something more mature than its romantic drama premise has required it to be. The evidence from Halsall's own description of Season 4, messy, among other things, suggests that Dylan's Season 4 arc is not going to be the simple villain redemption or villain defeat that most teen dramas deploy. The evidence strongly suggests that Kiley's decision about Alex in Season 4 is going to be made in full knowledge of what Dylan did, and in spite of it. A choice about Alex that has nothing to do with Dylan's exposure, and everything to do with whether Alex has become the person Kiley's patience was always waiting for him to be. After everything Season 3 set up, and everything the confirmed Season 4 production details have revealed, the question every fan is holding is the timing one. When does August 2027 arrive, and what does the trailer look like when it gets there? Site index equals 6071. Netflix confirmed a 2027 release window for Season 4, with filming underway in Calgary since May 2026. Capital FM noted that Season 3's trailer arrived in mid-July 2026, approximately 4 weeks before the August 6th premiere, suggesting the Season 4 trailer will follow the same pattern and land around mid-July 2027. The production timeline, Calgary filming since May 2026, with Season 3 as a reference point, points toward an August 2027 premiere as the most likely target, consistent with the summer scheduling that Netflix has now established as the show's home on the calendar. Site index equals 603-1. Halsall confirmed that she has an overall sense of where the series will end up, which means Season 4 is being produced with an endpoint in mind. Whether that endpoint is Season 4 itself or a later season depends on decisions Netflix has not yet publicly announced, but the evidence from the speed of every renewal this show has received tells the audience that Netflix is not treating this as a show they are managing toward a conclusion. They are treating it as a show they are managing toward its best possible version of itself. Based on everything the production details confirm and everything the Season 3 finale set in motion, that version arrives in August 2027, and based on everything Halsall has promised about the stories it contains, the wait is going to feel considerably longer than 12 months. Now the conversation moves to the fans. 3 questions need answering before Season 4 arrives. Halsall has not confirmed whether Season 4 adapts any material from Novak's sequel novel, My Return to the Walter Boys. Does the show take the sequel's version of Cole and Jackie's reconciliation and make it the emotional center of Season 4? Or does Halsall chart an entirely independent path to wherever she has determined the series ends? Cole crashed his car, racing toward Jackie, while Danvers ran him off the road, and Season 4 opens in the immediate aftermath of that moment. Does Episode 1 of Season 4 show Cole in a hospital bed, with Jackie finally at his bedside, understanding exactly what he was doing when he crashed? Or does the show find a way to begin the season with both of them in positions that require several more episodes of navigation before that conversation can happen? And the question that the question marks around Will and Nathan make most urgent, when some of the Walters are gone from the house in Season 4 and Silver Falls feels different from what 3 seasons established, is that difference going to feel like loss? Or is it going to feel like the show finding the story it has been building toward all along, now that the chaos has made room for the people who matter most? The video on screen covers everything else fans need to know before Season 4 arrives.